Chapter 7 Question Answers from Theme C are Cultural Heritage and Knowledge Traditions. Class 6 Subject Social Science. The big questions. Question 1 What are the Vedas? What is their message? Answer The Vedas are ancient Indian texts considered to be among the oldest in the world. The word Veda comes from the Sanskrit word Ved meaning knowledge. There are four Vedas the Rig Veda, the Yajur Veda, the Sam Veda, and the Atharva Veda. These texts consist of thousands of hymns, prayers in the form of poems and songs that were recited orally. The Vedas were composed by rishis, that is, sages, and rishikas, female sages, and addressed to many deities such as Indra, Agni, Varuna, Mitra, Saraswati, and Ushas. They emphasize the unity of the cosmos with a key message that the existent is one, but sagas give it many names, promoting values such as truth and unity among people. Question 2 What new schools of thought emerged in India in the first millennium BCE? What are their core principles? Answer Several new schools of thought emerged in India during the first millennium BCE, including Vedanta. This school is based on the Upanishads, building upon Vedic concepts and introducing ideas such as rebirth and karma. Vedanta holds that everything is one divine essence called Brahman, and it emphasizes the unity and interdependence of all beings. Next, yoga. This school developed methods to achieve the realization of Brahman in one consciousness, focusing on mental and physical discipline to attain spiritual enlightenment. Next, Buddhism. Founded by Siddhartha Gautam, the Buddha, this school rejects the authority of the Vedas and teaches that ignorance and attachment are the sources of human suffering. Buddhism emphasizes non violence, ahimsa, and inner discipline, and it promotes the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path as means to achieve enlightenment. Next, Jainism. Founded by Mahavira, Jainism also rejects the Vedas and focuses on non-violence, ahimsa, non-possession, aparigraha, and the idea that truth has many aspects. Anekantavad. Jainism teaches that all living beings are interconnected and emphasizes ethical conduct and spiritual purity. Next, Charvaka Lokayata. This materialistic school believed that the material world is the only reality and rejected the notion of life after death. It did not gain much popularity and eventually disappeared. Question 3 What is the contribution of folk and tribal traditions to Indian culture? Answer Folk and tribal traditions have made significant contributions to Indian culture through their rich oral traditions and practices. These traditions often involve the worship of natural elements such as mountains, rivers, trees, plants, and animals, which are regarded as sacred. Tribal communities have their own deities, legends, and rituals, many of which have influenced mainstream Hinduism. For instance, deities like Jagannath and various forms of the Mother Goddess have tribal origins. Tribal traditions also share the concept of a higher divinity or supreme being, similar to Hinduism. The interaction between tribal, folk, and mainstream Hindu beliefs has led to mutual enrichment, making tribal and folk traditions an integral part of India's cultural roots. Let's explore page 109. Do you know the term for a society where people select their leaders? How do you think people can benefit from such a situation? What could happen if they live under leaders that they did not choose? Hint Think back to what you are learning in the theme Governance and Democracy. Write your thoughts in a paragraph of 100 to 150 words. Answer The term for a society where people select their leaders is democracy. In a democracy, people benefit by having the power to choose leaders who represent their interests and values. This system encourages accountability as leaders must respond to the needs and concerns of their constituents to remain in power. Additionally, democracy fosters a sense of participation and ownership among citizens, making them more engaged in the governance process. If people live under leaders they did not choose, they may feel disconnected from the government, leading to dissatisfaction and potential unrest. Such leaders might not prioritize the well being of the people, resulting in policies that do not reflect the public's need or desires. In contrast, a democratic system promotes fairness, transparency, and the protection of individual rights, contributing to more just and stable society. Think about it, page 110. Have you heard or read any other story that conveyed an important message? What values did it teach you? Answer: Yes, I have read many stories that convey important messages. One such story is The Boy Who Cried Wolf. In this story, a young shepherd boy repeatedly tricks the villagers into thinking a wolf is attacking his flock by shouting for help when there is no wolf. When a real wolf eventually appears and the boy calls for help, the villagers do not believe him and the wolf attacks the flock. This story teaches the value of honesty and the consequences of lying. It underscores the importance of being truthful, as lies can lead to a loss of trust and can have serious repercussions when one actually needs help. This moral emphasizes the significance of integrity and the impact of one's actions on relationships and community trust. Let's explore page 115. Discuss the way the Buddha is depicted in the above panel. Answer: The Buddha is depicted in a stone panel that dates back around 1800 years, showing him teaching. The depiction emphasizes his role as a teacher and spiritual guide surrounded by followers who are attentive to his teachings. This visual representation highlights the Buddha's serene and enlightened demeanor, symbolizing wisdom, peace, and compassion. The artwork captures the essence of the Buddha's teachings and his influence on his disciples, reflecting the importance of spreading his message of enlightenment and inner peace. Question 2. Can you name some states of India or some other countries where Buddhism is a major religion even today? Try to plot these on a world map. Answer: States in India. So friends, I will show you the location of the states in the India's map. First, Sikkim, here. Second, Arunachal Pradesh, here. Third, Ladakh Union Territory, here. Next, Maharashtra, regions like Nagpur, here. Next, Himachal Pradesh, Dharmshala, here. Next, countries. We will see the location of the countries in the world map. First, Thailand, here. Second, Myanmar, Burma, here. Third, Sri Lanka, here. Next, Bhutan, here. Next, Nepal, here. Next, Japan, here. Next, Tibet, here. Next, Mongolia, here. Next, Vietnam, here. Next, South Korea, here. So friends, you can note them down and pinpoint their locations. Let's explore page 118. Observe the above panel from a Jain temple in New Delhi. What is striking about it? What messages does it carry? Answer: The panel from the Jain temple in New Delhi is striking due to its intricate and detailed carvings, which reflect the high level of artistry and craftsmanship of the period. The depiction often includes various Tirthankaras, Jain spiritual teachers, in meditative postures surrounded by symbolic elements like lotus flowers and auspicious symbols. The messages carried by this panel include the importance of meditation, non-violence, ahimsa, and the pursuit of spiritual knowledge. Jainism emphasizes living a life of purity, renunciation, and compassion towards all living beings. The detailed iconography and the serene expressions of the figures highlight the Jain values of inner peace, discipline, and the interconnectedness of all life forms. These artistic representations serve not only as religious symbols but also as educational tools, reminding devotees and viewers of the core principles of Jainism. Think about it, page 118. In both Buddhism and Jainism, ahimsa means much more than refraining from physical violence. against a person or an animal. It also means refraining from violence in thought, such as having ill feelings towards anyone. If we observe ourselves carefully, we may notice such negative thoughts and learn to turn them into positive ones. Sometimes such negative thoughts are even directed at ourselves. Think about it, page 119. In English, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism are often labeled religions. You may notice that we have avoided this term referring schools of thought and later in this chapter, belief systems. This is because there are many aspects to those schools and systems which we will explore gradually. A philosophical aspect, a spiritual aspect, a religious aspect, an ethical aspect, a social aspect, to name a few. Many scholars agree that the word religion is too limiting in the context of the Indian civilization. Questions, activities, and projects. Question 1. If you were Nachiketa, what questions would you like to ask Yama? Write them down in 100 to 150 words. Answer. If I were Nachiketa, I would ask Yama about the nature of the soul and its journey after death. Specifically, I would inquire, O Yama, what happens to the soul after it leaves the physical body? Is there a heaven or hell, or does the soul undergo rebirth? How can one achieve liberation from the cycle of birth and death? What is the role of karma in shaping our destiny, and how can we overcome past actions to attain spiritual purity? Lastly, what practices or disciplines should one follow in life to ensure a peaceful and enlightened existence in the afterlife? These questions would help understand the mysteries of life, death, and the path to spiritual enlightenment. Question 2. Explain a few central ideas of Buddhism. Briefly comment upon them. Answer. Buddhism revolves around several key concepts, including the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. The Four Noble Truths outline the nature of suffering, dukkha, its cause, tanha or craving, its cessation, nirodha, and the path to its cessation, magga. The Eightfold Path provides a practical guide to ethical and mental development with the goal of freeing individuals from attachments and delusions, leading to understanding, enlightenment, and the cessation of suffering. Additionally, the concept of karma emphasizes the importance of one's actions and their effects on future lives. These teachings encourage a life of compassion, mindfulness, and ethical conduct. Question 3. Discuss in class the quotation of the Buddha, which begin with "Not by water is one made pure, though many people may bathe here in sacred rivers," to make sure that its meaning has been understood by all. Answer. This quotation from the Buddha emphasizes that true purity and spiritual cleanliness do not come from external rituals such as bathing in sacred rivers, but from internal virtues and actions. It teaches that inner qualities like truthfulness, compassion, and ethical behavior are what truly purify a person. Discussing this in class can help students understand that spiritual practices should focus on personal growth and moral integrity rather than mere ritualistic activities. The quote encourages individuals to seek purity through self discipline, kindness, and understanding, reflecting the core values of Buddhism. Question 4. Explain a few central ideas of Jainism. Briefly comment upon them. Answer. Jainism emphasizes three main principles. First, ahimsa, non-violence. Second, anikantvad, many-sidedness. Third, aparigraha, non-attachment. Ahimsa advocates for complete non-violence towards all living beings, reflecting deep respect for life. Anikantvad teaches that truth and reality are complex and can be perceived from different perspectives, encouraging tolerance and understanding. Next, aparigraha promotes detachment from material possessions and desires, fostering a simple and content life. These principles guide Jains towards ethical living, spiritual development, and harmonious coexistence with all forms of life, highlighting their religion's commitment to compassion, humility, and self restraint. Question 5. Consider and discuss in class Andre Batelet's thought See page 122. This one. Andre Bateley's thought emphasizes the long standing interaction between India's castes and tribes, highlighting their mutual influence on religious beliefs and practices. Discussing this in class can shed light on how Indian civilization has been shaped by diverse cultural exchanges. It underscores the idea that tribal religions have influenced mainstream Hinduism and vice versa, contributing to a rich, pluralistic tradition. This discussion can help students appreciate the complexity and inclusivity of Indian culture, promoting respect for different belief systems and an understanding of cultural synthesis. Question 6. Make a list of popular gods and goddesses in your region and the festivals they are associated with. Answer. Lord Rama, celebrated during Ram Navami, marking his birth, and Diwali, celebrating his return to Ayodhya. Next, Lord Krishna, celebrated during Janmashtami, marking his birth, and Holi, commemorating various legends associated with him. Next, Goddess Durga, worshipped during Navratri, a 9-day festival celebrating her different forms. Next, Lord Shiva, celebrated during Mahashivratri, dedicated to his worship. Next, Goddess Saraswati, celebrated during Vasant Panchami, marking the arrival of spring and honoring her as the goddess of knowledge. Question 7. As a class activity, list 2 or 3 tribal groups from your region or state. Document some of their art and belief systems. Answer. Tharu. Art known for intricate wall paintings and traditional jewelry. Belief systems practice animism, worshipping nature spirits and deities. Next, Bill. Art famous for vibrant Pithora paintings depicting folklore and deities. Belief systems worship ancestors and deities like Bhil Raja and Vagdeo. Next, Gond. Art renowned for Gond paintings featuring animals, trees, and deities. Belief systems follow animistic traditions, worshipping clan gods and nature elements like trees and rivers. This activity can enhance understanding and appreciation of the rich cultural heritage and diversity of tribal communities. Next, true or false. First, the Vedic hymns were written on palm leaf manuscripts. Answer. False. The Vedic hymns were originally recited orally and passed down through generations before being written down. Second, the Vedas are India's oldest texts. Answer. True. The Vedas are considered the oldest texts of India. Third, the Vedic statement Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuddha Vadanti reflects a belief in the unity of cosmic powers. Answer. True. This statement means the existent is one, but sagas give it many names, reflecting the unity of cosmic powers. Fourth, Buddhism is older than the Vedas. Answer. False. The Vedas predate Buddhism. Fifth, Jainism emerged as a branch of Buddhism. Answer. False. Jainism and Buddhism are distinct traditions that emerged independently, although around the same period. Sixth, both Buddhism and Jainism advocated for peaceful coexistence and the avoidance of harm to all living beings. Answer. True. Both religions emphasize non-violence and peaceful coexistence. 7. Tribal belief systems are limited to belief in spirits and minor deities. Answer. False. Tribal belief systems are diverse and can include complex deities, rituals, and philosophies, often including the worship of natural elements and a supreme deity. Next, class activity. Stage a small play with Yama, god of death, surrounded by several Nachiketas asking him questions about life. So friends, you have to do it yourself. With this, all the question answers of the chapter are complete. If you find the video useful, kindly like it and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching.